All right, so today we are going to attempt to tackle a pretty big subject.
Oh.
Yeah, Miley Cyrus.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you sent in a whole stack of articles on her.
It's a fascinating career arc.
It is, and I mean, I guess the overarching question is she a brilliant strategist? Is she a vulnerable artist trying to just, navigate the insane pressures of fame, or is it both?
I mean, that's what's so interesting to me, is that she's managed to stay relevant in an industry that's constantly changing.
Yeah.
How do you do that for so long?
Right.
And at what cost?
Yeah, and it's funny because, thinking of her career, it really is like this wild roller coaster ride.
Ups and downs.
Unexpected twists,
Definitely. I mean, are you strapped in?
Let's do it. Okay, so to understand her journey, I mean, we really kind of have to go back to the beginning.
Okay, so let's unpack the Hannah Montana era.
Right. I mean, that squeaky clean Disney image, it was a global phenomenon. I mean, that is the foundation of her career, and understanding that period is going to be key to, grasping how she's evolved.
Absolutely.
But then, of course, there's the 2013 VMAs performance.
Right.
The twerking, the outfit, Robin Thicke. It was like a shock to the system for a lot of people.
Especially for those who only knew her as Hannah Montana.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a very deliberate shift away from that image.
Yeah.
Some saw it as like a calculated PR stunt.
Oh, yeah.
Others saw it as a young woman breaking free.
Yeah.
But it definitely sparked a conversation, I think, about her image and the direction she was heading.
Definitely.
Are you sure?
And then that leads us to Wrecking Ball.
Okay.
Which, I mean, both the song and the video, I think, really kind of pushed boundaries even further.
A lot of controversy around that one.
Yeah, especially the video, which was, very revealing, to say the least.
Right.
And around that time, there were rumors about her partying, drug use.
Yeah. And she actually admitted to loving marijuana in an interview, which I think created even more buzz.
Yeah.
And, that brings up a good point. This idea of child stardom, the pressures of that.
Yeah.
And whether her behavior was just youthful rebellion
Right.
or a cry for help.
Yeah.
It's a complex issue, and it might not be as simple as it seems.
Right. And then, then you bring in the accusations of cultural appropriation.
Oh, right.
So she was, criticized for, I guess, using elements of Black culture.
Like the twerking, the hip hop.
Yeah. And then seemingly kind of distancing herself from it.
Yeah, there was like a 2017 Billboard interview where she talked about moving away from hip hop.
Right.
And the backup.
Oh, yeah, it was huge.
And that, I think, really ignited this conversation about artistic expression, cultural boundaries.
Totally.
Where does appreciation turn into appropriation?
Right.
I mean, it's something we're still talking about today.
Mm-hmm. And then you throw in the Liam Hemsworth saga.
Oh, right.
I mean, their relationship was constantly in the tabloids, the on-again, off-again, the surprise wedding, the very public and messy divorce.
And right after the split, there were photos of her with Caitlyn Carter.
Yeah.
I mean, social media just blew up, everyone dissecting every little detail.
It was a frenzy.
It was a frenzy.
And it really shows you how these celebrity breakups, they just become public spectacles.
Oh, yeah.
In the internet age.
Big time.
And then, of course, she releases flowers.
Okay.
And fans are convinced it's a direct response to the split with Liam.
I mean, they were analyzing everything.
Everything. The release date, the house, and the video.
Looking for those hidden messages.
Oh, yeah.
It's a prime example of how fans really engage with an artist's work.
Yeah.
They want to find that deeper meaning.
Yeah.
And it's a really interesting relationship between the artist and the audience, especially now with social media.
Totally. But then, amidst all of that, all the provocative imagery, the headlines, she's also been incredibly open about her struggles with mental health.
Yeah, it's true.
She's talked about her anxiety, her depression, and even feeling so low that she would lock herself in her room.
Right.
And I think that really made her feel, much more relatable to a lot of people.
Absolutely. It makes you look past the surface.
Yeah.
And think about her behavior.
Yeah.
Is it all about attention, or is there something deeper going on?
Right. And her relationship with drugs and alcohol has also been, very public and very scrutinized.
Yeah.
She's had periods of sobriety, advocated for marijuana, then relapsed.
Right. And in 2020, she admitted to falling off the wagon, which, again, kind of sparked this discussion about addiction.
Yeah, and especially addiction in the public eye.
It's tough, you know. It's a reminder that there's a human being behind the headlines.
Right. And then, of course, another aspect of her image that has drawn both, praise and criticism is her comfort with nudity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've seen it in performances, photo shoots.
Right.
It's definitely sparked debate. Some applaud it, some are critical.
Yeah.
It really ties into this larger conversation about female agency,
Yeah?
body politics,
Mm-hmm.
how women are judged in the entertainment industry.
And then, we can't forget the cancel culture attempts.
Right.
From the cultural appropriation accusations to some of her comments, she's faced a lot of backlash.
And yet she always seems to bounce back.
She does.
It's remarkable, isn't it?
It is.
Is it talent?
I don't know.
Is it a good PR team?
Right.
Or is there something about her that, even when we disagree with her,
Yeah.
we're still fascinated.
We can't look away.
We can't look away.
Yeah.
She's undeniably resilient.
She is. So as she, enters her 30s now, I guess the question is, what's next?
What is next?
Will she continue to push boundaries?
Yeah.
Will we see a different side of her?
Right.
It's impossible to predict.
Well, that's what makes her so captivating.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
She keeps us guessing.
It's true.
Keeps us on our toes.
And that, in the entertainment industry, is valuable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Keeps people interested.
Keeps people interested. All right. So we've laid out a lot here. So let's really kind of dig in and start unpacking some of this.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, because, this constant evolution, this willingness to push the envelope, does it come at a price?
Right, because she has achieved incredible success.
She has.
But there's also been so much scrutiny,
Oh, yeah.
so much criticism,
Yeah.
and there's a vulnerability to her.
Yeah.
It's like she's still figuring things out.
Yeah, and growing up in the spotlight like that
Oh, my
from
God.
Hannah Montana at such a young age,
Yeah.
that has to take a toll.
Absolutely.
That kind of pressure, it can be incredibly isolating.
Like living in a fishbowl.
Yeah.
Every move, magnified, dissected.
Yeah, and she's chosen to be so open.
It's remarkable, isn't it?
It is.
It takes courage
It does.
to be that vulnerable when the whole world is watching.
And I think that's also what makes her so relatable,
Oh, absolutely.
She's not pretending to have it all figured out.
Right.
She's not afraid to show her flaws.
Right. And
Yeah.
in a world where, especially on social media, everything's so curated.
Oh, it's all picture perfect.
Yeah, it's picture perfect. That
Yeah.
kind of authenticity, it's refreshing.
It's refreshing.
Yeah. It's like it's okay to not be okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
To make mistakes.
Yeah,
To be work in progress.
totally. And, that is such a powerful message for young people today, I think.
Oh, for sure.
Because they are constantly bombarded with these unrealistic expectations of perfection.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I think Miley, in her own way, is like a role model
Yeah.
for embracing your true self,
Yeah.
even if it's not always pretty.
Even if it's not always accepted,
Right. Or universally
It's
accepted.
true.
Yeah.
It's true. She's not afraid to challenge the status quo.
Even if you don't agree with all of her choices,
Yeah.
you have to kind of admire that courage
You too.
to be different.
And it's also fascinating to see how her music has evolved alongside her personal journey.
Mm-hmm.
She started with these pop rock anthems.
Yeah.
Then she brought in the hip hop influences, experimented with different sounds.
It's like her musical journey reflects her own growth
Totally.
as a person,
Yeah.
as an artist.
Yeah. And, songs like Slide Away, Malibu,
Yeah.
they have this vulnerability.
Yeah, it's ripped down.
Yeah. That I think really showcase her vocals.
Oh, she can convey so much emotion
She can.
just through her voice.
Yeah.
You can feel the pain, the joy, the defiance.
It's all there.
It's all there.
Yeah.
And she's not afraid to push herself vocally either.
Right.
Which makes her, such a dynamic performer.
She's unpredictable.
Unpredictable.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, her live shows.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, over the top.
Yeah.
Theatrical energy.
She's a true performer.
She takes that raw energy and transforms it.
And she takes risks.
Oh, yeah.
On
Well,
stage,
yeah.
pushing those boundaries of what's acceptable.
Right. Some are shocked.
Yeah.
Some are offended.
Yeah.
But you can't deny she knows how to get your attention.
She does.
And that ability to command attention, that's powerful.
It is.
To evoke a reaction.
Mm-hmm.
She uses that to spark conversations.
Yeah.
To challenge norms.
Yeah.
To make people think differently.
I mean, when you look at her journey as a whole, it's clear that she's not afraid to break the mold.
Right. She defies expectations.
She does, but the question still remains, is she in control of her narrative, or is she a prisoner of this image that she's created?
That's the ultimate question, isn't it?
It is.
And I don't know if there's a simple answer.
I don't either.
It's complex.
It is.
It's nuanced.
It's like she's walking this tightrope
Oh, yeah.
between authenticity and this very carefully constructed persona.
Right. And where does one end
Right.
and the other begin?
Yeah. It's hard to pinpoint.
It's hard to pinpoint.
And it makes you think about, the nature of celebrity itself.
Oh, yeah.
Can you be truly authentic?
When you're under that microscope.
When every move is analyzed for its impact.
On your brand.
On your brand.
Right.
I mean, can you even separate the person from the persona at that point?
I don't know. Maybe the line becomes completely blurred.
Or irrelevant.
Yeah.
Because, in the end, it's all part of this Miley Cyrus experience, this ever-evolving spectacle that keeps us, both intrigued and entertained.
Right.
And she's brilliant at it.
She is.
I mean, she understands the power of image, the controversy, pushing boundaries, whether she's consciously manipulating it or a product of it. She's navigated that world of fame in a way that I think very few child stars do.
They don't.
Right.
She's not just surviving, she's thriving.
Yeah, and that speaks to something,
Yeah.
to her talent, her resilience. Yeah.
And maybe even her willingness to play the game.
Even if it means bending the rules a little.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess what can we take away from all of this?
I think, Miley Cyrus is a complex, contradictory figure. She's not easy to categorize.
No. I mean, she's a product of Disney,
Right.
A talented artist, a master, perhaps, of media manipulation, and a vulnerable human being.
All of those things.
All of those things.
Yeah. And maybe that's the point, right?
And maybe that's the point.
She's a reflection of our times.
She is
this obsession we have with celebrity and our struggle to understand, the public image versus the private person.
It's true.
And she forces us to confront, those uncomfortable questions about the price of fame.
The line between entertainment and exploitation.
Right.
Yeah.
And our own role in all of this.
Our own role. Yeah. So as you continue to, kind of go through these articles, I hope you're left with more questions than answers.
Because, ultimately that's what's so interesting.
It is.
It's this continuous dialogue.
Yeah.
It's grappling with those complexities.
The fame.
Of identity.
Of artistic expression.
And that's a conversation worth having.
It is.
Yeah. It really makes you think, about that price of fame and how it shapes a person, especially when it starts so young.
Especially when it starts so young. And, thinking back to her musical journey, I think it's interesting to see how it's, it's kind of mirrored her personal evolution.
Yeah, absolutely.
She starts with those, those catchy pop rock hits during her Disney days.
Yeah, bubblegum pop.
Yeah, and then transitions to this more experimental phase, kind of bringing in elements of hip hop.
Yeah, and that shift towards hip hop, I think, is a good example of how she's actively pushed musical boundaries.
Yeah.
She was willing to experiment, blend genres.
Yeah.
Even if it meant, facing criticism.
And facing those accusations, of appropriation.
Right. And that period, sparked a lot of important conversations about cultural boundaries.
Totally.
Artistic expression.
Yeah.
Where does appreciation end and appropriation begin?
Mm-hmm.
But it also speaks to her willingness to take risks.
Yeah.
And challenge those conventions.
Definitely. And, it's not just the genres that she's exploring, it's also the lyrical content.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, in her early work, the lyrics were very, lighthearted.
Right. Kind of typical teenage experiences.
Yeah. But as she matures, the songs start to delve into more, complex themes.
Heartbreak, self-discovery.
Self-discovery, yeah.
Even, social commentary.
Social commentary, yeah. Like Slide Away, for example.
Okay.
That's a very personal song.
Yeah, about moving on.
About moving on from a relationship. And it showcases, I think, a rawness and vulnerability that we hadn't really seen from her before.
And then you have Malibu, which I think a lot of people interpret it as, like, an ode to peace.
Serenity.
Yeah.
After a very turbulent time.
Yeah, and I think these songs really suggest significant artistic growth, a willingness to be more introspective, more honest in her music.
Yeah, and there's a depth and a maturity in those songs that I think really resonates with listeners.
It does. It's like she's inviting us into her world to kind of witness this personal journey through her music.
And her vocal ability is a key part of that.
Oh, she's got an incredible range.
She does.
And she conveys so much emotion.
She does.
Just through her voice.
Yeah.
You can feel the pain.
You can hear it. The joy.
The defiance.
The defiance. It's all there.
It's all there. And she's not afraid to experiment vocally.
No, not at all.
You know.
It's like she pushes her own limits.
Yeah.
to bring those emotions to life.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes her live performances so captivating.
Oh, for sure. That raw energy.
The theatrical element. Yeah. Her concerts are spectacles.
They're spectacles, and I've always been so impressed by her stage presence.
Oh, she's a natural.
She really is.
Yeah, she owns the stage.
Yeah.
Captivating audiences with her energy.
Pushing those boundaries of what's considered acceptable.
Yeah, for sure. There's always that sense of unpredictability, like anything could happen.
Right.
And that's what keeps people engaged.
And that's what keeps them coming back for more.
It's an experience.
It is.
It's not just a concert, you know?
Right, exactly. And that ability to command attention, to elicit those strong reactions from people, that's something that she uses very strategically, I think.
She knows how to make an impact.
She does.
Yeah, whether she's sparking conversations about social issues, challenging those traditional norms, or just, you know, pushing people out of their comfort zones.
Yeah.
She's doing something, you know?
She's doing something, and it makes you wonder, is this like this calculated risk-taking, is this a conscious strategy on her part, or is this just an innate part of who she is?
Right. Is this just Miley being Miley?
Is this just Miley being Miley?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very fascinating interplay, I think, between like persona and authenticity.
Persona and authenticity, and maybe that's what makes her so intriguing.
Yeah.
She's constantly challenging our perceptions.
Yes.
Forcing us to question our own biases, sort of a preconceived notion.
Yeah, she's like this pop culture enigma.
She is.
No.
She defies categorization.
She defies categorization. Yeah, it's like she's constantly playing with those expectations, blurring the lines between what's real and what's performance.
And that's where it gets really interesting, you know. Is she this master manipulator of the media?
Right.
Or is she simply a product of the very system she's pushing against?
Yeah.
Is she using her platform to have these like really meaningful dialogues? Or is it all just this carefully crafted act?
Right. And I think, you know, maybe it's a bit of both.
I think so, too.
Yeah, maybe she's the savvy businesswoman who knows how to, you know, grab those headlines.
For sure.
But she's also a passionate artist who wants to use her voice for good.
Right, and it's that duality that makes her so fascinating.
It really does.
You know.
It does. She's not afraid to be contradictory, to embrace her complexities.
Right.
You know, she can be vulnerable and defiant, provocative, and sincere.
It's like she's daring us to figure her out.
Yeah.
Put her in a box, slap a label on her.
Yeah.
But she just keeps, you know, slipping away.
She does.
From those easy categorizations.
She really does. And that is a testament, I think, to her staying power.
Oh, absolutely.
In an industry that is so obsessed with novelty and those fleeting trends.
Right.
You know, she has managed to remain relevant for over a decade.
It's true. I mean, she's constantly evolving.
Reinventing herself.
Keeping us guessing.
Keeping us on the edge of our seats. Yeah.
It's like we're all part of this, like, ongoing social experiment.
I love that.
Watching as she pushes these boundaries.
Yeah.
Challenges our perception.
Of what a pop star should be.
Of what a pop star should be. And it's a testament to her talent.
It is.
That she can do all of this and still create music that resonates with millions.
It's true. So I guess, you know, what's the final verdict?
The final verdict.
Who is Miley Cyrus?
Who is she?
Yeah, I mean, I think if we've learned anything, it's that there is no easy answer.
No, she's a reflection of our times.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a product of the celebrity machine.
Yeah.
A talented artist, a fearless provocateur, a vulnerable human being. She's all of these things.
She's all of those things.
And maybe that's the point.
Maybe that's the point, yeah.
She's a walking contradiction.
A force of nature.
An enigma.
An enigma. And, you know, that's why she has remained such a captivating figure.
In pop culture, for sure.
You know.
She challenges us to think critically.
To question our assumptions.
To embrace the complexity.
Embrace the complexity, yeah. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of Miley Cyrus.
Yeah.
I hope you're left with, as I said, more questions than answers.
Because ultimately, that's the beauty of it.
It is,
you know, it's about that continuous dialogue. It's about grappling with those complexities of fame.
Of identity, of artistic expression.
And that's a conversation worth having.
It is. It always is. Thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll see you on the next Deep Dive.